Hello, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to Raj Malhotra's IAS. So we are into our fifth week of this current affairs series. For all those who are joining us for the first time, let me just introduce to myself. I am Snigdha Singla and I'll be taking your international affairs related current affairs. Good afternoon, Rahul. Okay, so I have already discussed some of the very important topics like Ukraine-Russia issue and Indo-Pacific, right, India-Japan relations in the past weeks. So please go back and check all the Thursday videos to get a comprehensive coverage of your international relations part, right? And today we are going to again discuss three very important your international relations related topics. The first being the India-Maldives relations, because as you all might be aware that we are witnessing the fifth BIMSTEC summit. So that is also going to be the topic of discussion for today. So because of the BIMSTEC meet, our foreign minister Mr. S. Jaishankar went to meet some countries like Maldives, Sri Lanka before the summit happened eventually in Sri Lanka, right? So that is why India Maldives was in news, because our external minister Mr. S. Jaishankar visited the country, right? Now, so these two are the main issues, and then the third issue would be Bucharest 9. Again, a term that appeared in news that is relevant for your prelims point of view and can be asked in mains also, GS part 2. So all these topics are very important, so stay tuned with me for today's discussion, right? So now let's start with our first topic, which is India Maldives relationships and the outcomes of the visit of our external minister, right? So before we begin, I want you all to carefully see that where Maldives is actually located on the world map. So see, you can locate India, hamara pyara Bharat as we say is located here. To its south west we have Maldives, right? This is the Maldivian island, right? Now I need you all to focus on the location of Maldives because it's a very strategically located country. See, as I discussed in the Indo-Pacific discussion, this entire Indo-Pacific area is very important. Okay? This is, these are the main sea lanes of communication, as we were saying. The entire trade, the entire oil, the entire, commercial shipments of the world pass through this area. And you see, Maldives is located to the south and to the north of these sea lanes of communication. We will discuss this in depth as we go ahead, but for now just broadly keep this in mind that how Maldives is strategically important, right? Now let's begin the discussion. So first of all, before starting the outcomes of the latest meet, we will broadly discuss India-Maldives relations, right? These are, designed similar on the lines of India-Japan. If you had joined me last week for India-Japan's discussion, you will know there also we saw India-Japan's relationships on these pillars. And now India-Maldives relationships are also, standing or being held by these pillars, right? Whenever you are studying the relationships of bilateral relationships of any two countries, you can think on these angles. You will get all the picture of those two countries' relationships, right? Now the first point is that both the countries have huge convergence, right? Maldives has India first policy as the major component of its foreign policy, and we all know India has neighborhood first as its key element of its foreign policy. So you see, from here Maldives is focusing on India, and from here India is interested in expanding and interacting and indulging in exchanges with its neighbors, including Maldives here to its south, right? So that is how both the countries' interests are converging. Maldives depends on India, and India also in many ways depends on Maldives, that we will discuss ahead, right? Now Let's start with the first pillar, that is the long history of links. So you see, India and Maldives have had their relationship since the independence of India, as well as then the Maldives from the colonial rule, right? So since then, India was among the first country to recognize Maldives as an independent nation. So since then, I mean, both the countries have had very strong and robust relationship in all these spheres that we will discuss, right? Then the political, at the political level also, the ties are very strong. So in India Japan also, I told you that to judge the political level ties of any two countries, you need to see how much the two countries are interacting on the highest level of their leadership, right? So you see here, the PMs of both the countries are meeting, regular summits, meetings are there between the two countries. Even the external affair or foreign affair ministers of the two countries are meeting. So both countries are indulging on regular basis in high level meetings, summit meetings, right? So that shows the strength of the political ties. As I told you in the last lecture also, that with Israel also we have very strong political ties. For that, famous example is Prime Minister Modi walking with the Israeli head of the state, that is Netanyahu, on the beach, right? So that shows the level of confidence and comfort that the leaderships of two countries share with each other. So that shows the strength of the political ties between two countries, and the same strength we have, India has with Maldives, right? So the political ties are also very strong and significant. Third, at the economic partnership level also, the India Maldives relations are very strong, right? Now India is a big country relative to Maldives, so India has been pushing investments into Maldives, right? So a very important project launched by India into Maldives is the Great Malay Connectivity Project, right? Malay is the capital of Maldives, right? So this project focuses on creating, you know, infrastructure between different island cities of Maldives, right? That will provide larger connectivity to the entire island. This is a very significant project for Maldivian economy, right? It will facilitate movement of goods, faster movement of goods, easier movements of goods, cheaper movement of goods, people and money across the Maldivian country, right? Like we say that northeast of India is not very well connected to the rest of India. That is why northeast is not able to develop. In the similar fashion, Maldives is divided into number of cities, you can say, separated by some water channels, right? So this Great Malay Connectivity Project will bridge this gap between the different cities of Maldives, right? So that is why it is very significant to promote development in Maldives, right? So that is the first pillar of their economic relationship. Then the trade between the two countries is also robust. We are exchanging sugar, wheat, rice, different commodities are being traded between the two countries, right? India is providing several grants, loans, right? On different levels, we are helping Maldivian economy to grow and develop in a sustainable fashion, right? So that is how, you know, the economic ties are boosting between the two countries, right? Then the next area of cooperation is the security engagement, right? So see, both countries face common threats, like both face issues of piracy, trafficking, drug trafficking, human trafficking from the Indian Ocean, you see, and there are issues of hawala also, right? So there are a lot of crimes that are happening which are of detriment, you know, for both the countries. So both the countries are also interacting on the security level, right? So for that, both the countries are also conducting a military level exercise called as equivalent, right? So this is the bilateral exercise that happens on a regular basis between the two countries, right? The next aspect of security engagement is the Indian Ocean. So like I told you that Indian Ocean is a very strategic location. So you see, we also see the increasing presence of China in Indian Ocean. So it's a threat both for India and Maldives, right? So what is happening is India is providing security assistance to Maldives to check the presence of China in the Indian Ocean. And how is China helping? By providing coastal surveillance radar systems. This is a very important point of engagement between the two countries, must remember it, CSRS, right? So these radar systems help the country to know that which ships or which vehicles or vessels are moving within the Indian Ocean. ठीक है, radar का functioning तो you must know that radar throws a wave of light, so it strikes a object, let's say a naval vessel, it comes back, is located at the this center of radar, right? Radar center, and the time taken and the distance travel gives us the speed, and the time gives us the distance at which the vessel is located. So in that way these radars help a country to locate कि कोई foreign country की vessels, where are they in the Indian Ocean. So if the Chinese army, let's say, is very close to Maldives, Maldives will be able to know this beforehand because of these radar systems, right? And India will also be aware of that, right? So in that way it will help in boosting the security aspect in Indian Ocean, right? So this is a very important pillar of security engagement between the two countries, right? Now the next area of engagement is disaster management. Okay, there are different kind of disasters that are happening all across the world, and India has been helping Maldives fight all different kinds of disasters. So you see, first in 2004, right, we the world, especially the South Asian countries, they witnessed a severe tsunami, right? So to fight, to combat, to rehabilitate the people of Maldives after that tsunami, India gave a lot of financial assistance and aid to Maldives. So that is one example of how we are engaging, right? Then you see, in 2014 Maldives faced severe water crisis, especially in the city of Malay, right? Malay, Malay, right? So at that time also India sent water consignments to Maldives. See, they were facing water disaster and they got help from India, right? And now we all know that in 2021 we faced COVID crisis, and in that also India provided vaccines to Maldives, right? So you tell me, which is that program under which India gave vaccine assistance to various countries in the world to fight the COVID pandemic? Which was that program? Tell me. Afshanam, the exercise between Maldives and India is EQVERIN. EKUVERIN, right? EKUVERIN, right? Now you tell me, which is that program under which India gave COVID vaccine assistance to different countries after the COVID pandemic? That is the program that is helping Maldives also here, right? So that is the level of engagement that we have in disaster management. That is how India is supporting Maldives, right? Since you are not responding, so I'll only tell, that is Vaccine Maitri. Vaccine Maitri was the program under which India was distributing COVID related vaccines to all the neighboring countries, smaller countries, to fight the COVID pandemic, right? So these kind of examples, new schemes you can use in your answers while you are discussing about relationships of any two countries, right? Now The next pillar of the relationship is the people to people ties. So you see, at people level, we are strongly engaged with Maldives. There are many Indians or a huge Indian diaspora that is working in Maldives, right? In their tourism sector, in their healthcare sector, there is vast number of Indians that are working there, right? So at that level, we are linked. Then tourism again is a sector that is linking us. You can consider it in the economic ties or even in the people to people ties, because we get to know their culture when we go for tourism there, and they get to know our culture when they visit India. So in that way also people to people relations get strengthened, right? Then there are educational exchanges also between the two countries. We have scholarship programs, we have training programs for their civil servants, for their army personnel, right? That also increases the connect between the people of the two nations. That is how our relations get strengthened, right? So finally, India Maldives are also aligned on ensuring environmental sustainability and preventing climate change. You see, Maldives is also an island nation. India also has many states that are located on the coasts, and also has two major islands, that is Andaman and Lakshadweep, right? So because of climate change, we are seeing that there is increase in the level of sea, right? There is also a concept of thermal expansion, because of which the coastal cities are threatened by sea flooding, right? Because of climate change. So these common threat of climate change, rising sea level, also provides convergence of interest between India and Maldives. So that also is an area of cooperation or convergence between the two countries, right? So this is broadly the picture of India Maldives situation, a relationship. I mean, you see, they have good historical links, they have strong political ties, they have robust economic partnership, right? On security level also, India is acting as the net security provider in Indian Ocean, and Maldives being one important country to which India is providing help in security and defense sector, right? Then disaster management, people to people ties, and environmental sustainability, right? All the areas are being used to cooperate with each other. That is how India Maldives relations basically are, right? Now this was a very important article that appeared in news some months back, but this is relevant to our discussion, so I am discussing it here, right? This article basically talks about the relevance of Maldives for India, right? This is a very important article, and the points that are given here, it may be asked you in your state civil service or even in UPSC, so you must make a note of this, these all points, right? And one more point that people keep asking me about PPTs, I would suggest that if you are watching the video, so keep making the notes alongside only. Why waste time again and again by watching videos repeatedly or seeing the PPTs again and again? Why don't you just make the notes while I am discussing these concepts, right? Try to get that habit. Okay, so now let's see how Maldives is important for India, right? Remember the location, only then can you know the importance of Maldives for India. This is a very strategically located place, as I have already told to you, right? From here, Gulf of Aden, hamara sara oil, the word oil, travels from this path to the Strait of Malacca. This is Strait of Malacca here, right? This is Gulf of Aden. From here, the trade and oil and commercial ships are moving. So Maldives is very strategically located. If any country wants to keep an eye on these trading routes, Maldives should be their important partner. That is why for India also, Maldives is very important to keep a check on the movement of its own oil commercial shipments, right? That is what this says. Then it is said that China's presence in Indian Ocean has been increasing, right? So to counter or to observe the activities of Chinese Navy within the Indian Ocean, India needs to have its eyes in Maldives, right? इसी वजह से we had discussed कि coastal radar system has been provided by India to Maldives so that they can have an eye in Maldives to keep a check on the Chinese activity in the Indian Ocean, right? बहुत important point है, must remember it. China has increasing presence in Indian Ocean. To check the activities of China, India is deploying these radar systems in various countries including Maldives, right? Here also in Mozambique also we have it, in Seychelles also we have it, right? An entire network is being built by India. That is a very important point, must write it in your answers, right? Next, India is aiming to be the net security provider in the Indian Ocean region, right? Now what that means is that India wants to be the security partner of these smaller countries in the Indian Ocean, right? जब भी उनको कोई issue हो related to their security or defense, India wants to be there, or even related to disasters, India wants to be there to provide assistance to those countries, right? That is the idea of net security provider, right? So to act as net security provider, Maldives is an important country and to which India provides security and defense cooperation to act as the net security provider, right? Yeah, this is very much linked to the Indian policy in Indo-Pacific. This is special. हमने last time we discussed Indo-Pacific also. To that also you can add these strategies of India, right? We were discussing that how is India leveraging the benefits in Indo-Pacific, or what steps India is taking to ensure its interests in Indo-Pacific. This coastal radar system is coastal surveillance radar system is a very important step that India is taking in Indo-Pacific. तो इस पॉइंट को तो कभी भूलना ही नहीं है, right? ये net security provider is also a very important keyword, must write it in your answers. ठीक है, समझ आ गया ना? India wants to ensure security services and assistance in case of disasters or security threats or criminal threats to all the smaller countries in the Indo-Pacific region, right? So to act as that security provider, net security provider, India needs to focus on Maldives also and provided the needed security and defense assistance, right? The next is that we all know that China has been providing massive loans to different countries. Like in Sri Lanka, Maldives acquired the Hambantota port after its unsustainable loans, right? Likewise, Maldives also gets 70% of its external aid from China, right? अपनी development के लिए, for its growth, Maldives also depends on China. Now this is a worrying condition for India. India does not want any country to become overly dependent on China, that they sell off their assets to China because of being unable to pay back the debts like Sri Lanka did, right? This is a very threatening condition. So for that reason also, India has to engage more with Maldives on economic level and to ensure and to check Chinese economic presence in Maldives. India has to take strong steps, right? That is how also Maldives is important for India. Next, see, a large section of Maldives population wanted Nasheed government. So they wanted, so this is just a political point. In Maldives, there was a person, the former Prime Minister of Maldives, that was Yamin. People don't like him, they wanted him to be displaced, and that is where Indian assistance was also required. So this is that point, right? Then next point is related to Sark. So see, Sark is an important grouping of which India is a leader, because majority of the countries in Sark are smaller countries. India wants to act as the leader of these South Asian countries. One of those countries is Maldives, right? So to acquire that leadership position in Sark, India needs to cooperate and interact with Maldives, right? That is how also Maldives is important to India to gain a leadership position in Sark, right? So that is how Maldives is again important. Then there is lot of radicalization under Yamin, as we told. Yamin के साथ problem क्या थी? There was lot of radicalization of the population of Maldives that was going on. ठीक है, so radicalization is always a threat India में, that may increase terrorist activities within India and even Maldives also, right? So to check that radicalization activity also, Maldives was important for India, right? India does not want that radicalization to spread in Maldives and harm India or Maldives, right? For that also Maldives was important for India, right? Now India also wants to bolster the already existing social, economic, cultural ties between the two countries, ठीक है? जितना engage करेंगे, they will be able to benefit on economic front, trade front, cultural front, tourism front, right? So strengthen those ties and gain the economic benefits. That is also a reason why Maldives is important for India, right? Further, see, a large diaspora, as I told you, Indian diaspora stays in Maldives. Almost 25,000 Indians are residing in Maldives, working in various sectors or getting education. So to ensure the interests of these Indians also, India needs to interact with Maldives, right? Finally, India is also a preferred destination of education, health for Maldivians, right? Now to attract Maldives people to Indian universities or Indian hospitals, India needs to keep a focus or keep an eye on Maldives, right? इस सब से we get the economic benefits, we get the strategic benefits. The more we engage on social level with Maldives, the more they will also be willing to cooperate on strategic level with India. समझ रहे हो? If they become dependent on us in economic ways, or they are getting benefits of education, health, all that stuff, then they will also provide more space for India to satisfy its strategic objectives, right? That is how these engagements are also relevant apart from the strategic engagement. Got it? This is what I explained, that Maldives is located very strategically somewhere here. So all the world's trade, oil and shipping, passes from here. Here we have Strait of Malacca, right? So Maldives is one such strategic location. So that is why Maldives becomes important for India. Now we start with the outcomes of the current meeting between India and Maldives, right? So you see, in this, India has promised a package of $2.6 billion, right? And this package will be provided on two pillars, that is the developmental partnership and security partnership, right? So broadly on these two levels, India will be assisting Maldives. What does development means? Activities like education, health, then trade, infrastructure development, all that ensures, that helps in the growth and development of Maldives economy, create employment there, create education among the people. All that can be included in the developmental partnership, right? Second area is security partnership. We have already discussed that there is a growing threat from different kind of crimes, transnational crimes like hawala, like drug trafficking, like terrorism, right? So that is where the two countries will aim to focus. Also there is a common Chinese threat, as we have talked, right? So to combat that also India will assist, right? So do remember these two pillars on which the two countries will be interacting, right? Now our foreign minister, that is Mr. S. J. Shankar, has himself said, right, that the development partnership is the central pillar of the relationship. ठीक है, ऐसे वर्ड्स, ऐसी लाइंस, ऐसी फ्रेजेस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड गुड इफ यू राइट देम इन योर आंसर्स. जब भी अगर इंडिया मालदीव रिलेशंस पे कभी भी क्वेश्चन आए, यू कैन ऑलवेज मेंशन दैट एस जे शंकर साहब हैज given this statement. So we need to interact on developmental level because this is the central pillar of our relationship, right? Now you see, in development we will be focusing on various aspects. The first aspect would be building the capacity of Maldivian police, right? Like we said that there are a lot of crimes and security threats that are there for Maldives, so India will be helping in building the capacity of the Maldivian police to fight those crimes, right? समझ आ रहा है? You see already the Labasana, the institute that you are all aspiring to go to, there we already have many students studying from Maldives. The police academy of Maldives is collaborating with the Labasana, your dream place, right? So you see Labasana also gets officers from Bhutan, from Nepal, from Maldives. All the friendly and important countries of India are sending their personnel to be trained in India, right? So that is why India is increasing this level of partnership. You see here we have this point that says ki, see, this is the academy where police IPS officers are trained. सबको पता है ना? Where is it located? Tell me. Sardar Vallabh Bhai Patel National Police Academy. You all want to go there or in Labasana, right? So here you have Maldivian officers also with whom you will be interacting. So we are increasing that level of partnership through this MOU. Tell me, where is it located? Reply, right? So you see, we will be giving them money also to build policing infrastructure, right? We will be giving them more seats in our academy also to train them, right? Yes, right, Baban, right, Baban, it's in Hyderabad. You are all aspiring to go to this place. You must be very enthusiastic while answering. This is located in Hyderabad and Labasana is located in our own Mussoorie, okay? So यहाँ पे और interaction is being increased. Yeah, right, every one of you are right. Seema Afsanam, home city, Hyderabad, nice, a good city to be, right? So that is how, to build the capacity of Maldivian police, we are increasing our engagement with the Maldives. You can read all these points, right? यहाँ पे academy में more students को लिया जाएगा. We will be giving them money to build their policing infrastructure, right? In that way, first level पे we will be interacting. Then these are all the pillars of development partnership. Maldives की development ensure करने के लिए India will be focusing on giving them grants, giving them budgetary support, giving them concessional loans, and also working on capacity building. Capacity building की example we have seen. Now you see, loans वगैरह दिए जाएंगे for infrastructural projects, right? Important city in Maldives, that is Adu. It will be given funding to build, different kind of infrastructure like tourism infrastructure, fishing facilities, health infrastructure. ठीक है, ये सारा infrastructure is the backbone of growth and development. ठीक है, हमारी कंट्री में भी we want more education, health, safe drinking water, sanitation facilities. इसीलिए तो हमने स्वच्छ भारत अभियान चलाया है, right? So same are the requirements for the people of Maldives. So we are providing them money to fulfill these requirements, right? So this is also important. Then the third engagement in development partnership would be digital connectivity, right? तो अब इंडिया में देखिए, there is a very important project in India, national knowledge network. ठीक है, इसमें क्या होता है, our higher education universities, ADU is the name. Adu is the name of the city, a city in Maldives, right? Usko develop karne ke liye we will be providing funds. That is what this point says, right? Now this national knowledge network, see here different professors, researchers, libraries, all those are digitally connected. This is a project that is going on in India to boost research in India. ठीक है, सब लोगों को सेंट्रल प्लेस पे इंटरैक्ट करने का मौका देता है. So we are extending this network to Maldives also now. We will be joining with Maldives higher education, you know, institutes also. अब उनके institutes, उनके teachers, their researchers, you know, their laboratories, they also can contribute and benefit from all the common center of knowledge that we have built under the national knowledge network, right? So that is also a level of partnership that we are seeing. ठीक है, ये सारे points लिख के रखो brief में. You can use it in whenever there is a question on India Maldives. First mention the basic pillars that I discussed, then mention the outcomes of the current meeting, right? Now security level pe, see the major you know, outcome of the meet has been India has agreed to hand over coastal radar systems to Maldives. So 10 radar systems will be provided, right, at the cost of $15.8 million, right? So you see, I told you कि coastal radar systems have been established in various countries like Mauritius, like Seychelles, like Sri Lanka. Now this Maldives, Bangladesh, Myanmar, these are the target countries where we still have to establish those coastal surveillance radar systems. And now we are working with Maldives to set up that system. This system is very important for security perspective, like I have explained you. See, that is what is written here. India is setting up coastal radar surveillance systems in the neighborhood to counter China's growing presence in Indian Ocean region, right? So this is a very important point. Keep this in mind. Coastal radar surveillance systems, right? So current meeting में भी इस पे agreement हुआ है that India will be providing these radar systems to Maldives. So that was all about India Maldives. Please do make notes of that topic, that will be very useful. Now this next topic is Bucharest 9. So this was in news. This organization or this grouping, you may say, this is a grouping of 9 East European countries. So their ambassadors had jointly written an editorial in local newspaper of India. So that is why this was in news. So it's a new term, it can be asked in your prelims. So that is why we are discussing. So basically these are the East European countries which are part of Bucharest 9. Estonia, these are the 3 Baltic nations. Baltic क्यों कहा जाता है? Because they are located next to Baltic Sea. So these 3 Baltic nations, then Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria. These combined form Bucharest 9. ठीक है, ये 9 countries मिलके Bucharest 9 they form. Try to remember these. This can be asked in any prelims, right? So all of these 9 countries are part of NATO, right? ये भी याद रखना है fact that they are members of NATO, right? And what is Bucharest? Bucharest is the capital of the country Romania, right? So this is named Bucharest 9 because it was first created, this group was first created by the Romanian president in 2014. ठीक है, ये थोड़ी factual information you have to learn about this grouping, right? It can be asked in prelims, that is why it was relevant. And the article that they wrote, उसमें main idea was that Russia in the Ukraine-Russian war is claiming that NATO is spreading towards east, right? So Russia is, that is why attacking Ukraine, because it wants to stop the spread of NATO. But this organization and their ambassadors mentioned that NATO is not spreading towards east, but we eastern countries are getting involved in NATO. We want to be part of NATO. It's not that NATO is coming to us. We have been going to NATO and we have worked very hard to be part of NATO, so we had to, had they say that we had to had economic progress, social progress to be part of this NATO organization, and we want to be part of NATO to ensure our security interest and prevent any threats that can come to us from the side of Russia. So वो कह रहे हैं कि ये जो गलत परसेप्शन रशिया बना रहा है कि नाटो is coming towards Russia and spreading into East Europe, that is not true. We Eastern European countries are willingly joining NATO. Basically ये point उन्होंने उस article में अपना put forward किया था, that you can use in answers wherever you find it relevant, right? Now the next topic of our today's discussion is BIMSTEC, a very very important organization. प्री के लिए, मेंस के लिए, स्टेट पीसीएस के लिए, एवरीवेयर यू कैन सी क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम दिस, सो दिस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो अब इसका लेटेस्ट 5th समिट रिसेंटली हुआ है, कल परसों होके हटा है. प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी ने वर्चुअली इसको अटेंड किया था. बिफोर दिस समिट हैपेंड वी सॉ कि हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर एस जयशंकर साहब, ही वेंट टू कोलंबो एंड मालदीव्स ऑल्सो, एज आई सेड, and engaged with those countries before the actual summit happened. So 18th ministerial meeting also happened, right? Minister to minister level meeting, and now the complete summit also happened, right? Now which are the basic countries of BIMSTEC? ठीक है, इसको याद करने के लिए बांग्लादेश, इंडिया, म्यांमार, श्रीलंका, थाईलैंड एंड भूटान एंड नेपाल. ऐसे आप याद रख सकते हैं, इसके नाम में ही है मोस्टली कंट्री. तो बांग्लादेश, इंडिया, म्यांमार, श्रीलंका, थाईलैंड, दीज, एंड देन 2 एक्स्ट्रा, दैट इज भूटान एंड नेपाल. ठीक है जी. नाउ this is also important because now BIMSTEC has completed 25 years today, right? 1997 में establish हुआ था. now in 2022 it is completing 25 years. तो इस पे question इसलिए भी आ सकता है. anyways BIMSTEC is important, but because it's 25 years completion, so it becomes even more important. so इसकी full form क्या है? Bay of Bengal multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation. So you see all these countries are located around Bay of Bengal. ये रहा Bay of Bengal. So all these countries are located on the periphery of Bay of Bengal. That is why this name has been given, Bay of Bengal, right? To cooperate on technical and economic level, this group has been formed between these countries. Now why is this region very important? Again, it's a important region in the Indo-Pacific. ठीक है. So you see, first of all, it's strategically important because this region touches the important choke point. ठीक है, choke point क्या होता है? That I explained in the Indo-Pacific video. It's located in on the important choke point, that is Strait of Malacca. So the entire oil shipping consignments trade passes through this Strait of Malacca, and this region is located near to that choke point. So to keep an eye on this choke point, to keep it free from any outside dominance, this region is very important, and India's engagement with this region is very important, right? Then a large population, 22% of world's population lives in this area, right? This region, this grouping also has a combined GDP of 2.7 trillion or even more than that, right? So now also, as I told you, ye India, see, this is Indo-Pacific. We have already studied the benefits of Indo-Pacific. Those are the significance of this area also, like passing of trade, presence of natural resources, presence of minerals, presence of polymetallic nodules, presence of rare earth elements, right? So in multiple ways, on economic level, strategic level, this region is important. ठीक है. Similar to Indo-Pacific, if you have understood Indo-Pacific, you will very well understand the relevance of this region also, right? Now, apart from its economic and strategic relevance, BIMSTEC grouping is also relevant because it acts as a alternative to Sark, right? अभी मैंने आपको बताया था, I told you that Sark is a very important grouping, right? But Sark has one problem, that is India-Pakistan issues in Sark. Pakistan is also a member of Sark, and Pakistan does not let any significant activity to happen in Sark, right? इंडिया और पाकिस्तान अपने इश्यूज में ही इंगेज्ड रहते हैं. सार्क इज नॉट एबल टू डिलीवर एनी आउटकम्स. सो इंडिया इज सीइंग बिम्स्टेक as an alternative to SARC to perform, to get some outcomes from this South Asian region, right? That is also a relevance of BIMSTEC for India. Further, you see northeastern development. देखिए ये नॉर्थ ईस्ट स्टेट है पूरी इंडिया की, राइट? सो नाउ इफ इंडिया वांट्स दीज नॉर्थ ईस्ट स्टेट्स टू डेवलप, इंडिया कैन मेक connect these northeastern states to the rest of Southeast Asia through trade, through tourism, through exchange of services, professional like teachers, lawyers, etc., right? For that also cooperation with BIMSTEC is important for India for northeast's development, right? Then India for that has pursued the neighborhood policy and Act East policy. ठीक है, अपने नॉर्थ ईस्ट की डेवलपमेंट के लिए वी आर फोकसिंग ऑन बिम्स्टेक, एंड फॉर दैट वी हैव यूज्ड दीज टू पॉलिसीज. सो टू सक्सेसफुली implement these two policies also we need BIMSTEC, right? And finally, China is going to be element everywhere wherever you discuss about Indo-Pacific. So to counter Chinese influence also in Bay of Bengal, you need to engage with these BIMSTEC countries, right? So they don't fall into any economic trap or any other diplomatic trap of China. ठीक है, जैसी गलती श्रीलंका ने कर दी, India needs to prevent that mistake from happening again with any other country. So that is why also India wants to engage actively with the BIMSTEC countries. ठीक है, these were all the benefits or the significance of this region, right? Now India and BIMSTEC has 6 focus areas. The entire BIMSTEC region, the countries of BIMSTEC are focusing on cooperating in these 6 areas, right? Trade, promoting trade among themselves, technology cooperation focus, transport, connectivity, to build connectivity among themselves, right? जैसे India and Maldives have the Kaladan multi-modal project, right? So if there will be connectivity, there will be transport, then only trade can move, then only tourism can happen, then only people can interact with each other, right? So transport is another important sector. Tourism is required to be promoted among these countries. All these countries have a shared link, that is Buddhism, right? Buddhism, or even with Sri Lanka we have Buddhism, with Bhutan we have Buddhism, with Nepal we have Hinduism. So these different religious cultural links we can exploit and promote tourism in the member nations, right? Finally, we can cooperate also on the energy level. Some countries they need energy, so India can provide them renewable energy, or even when India has excess of thermal energy, India also transports that energy to these neighboring countries or the BIMSTEC countries. So that is also the area of cooperation where the countries want to cooperate. And finally, in the fishing sectors, Bay of Bengal is a rich storehouse of fishery and fishing services. So that is also an area that is of focus for all these countries to be exploited for their economic benefits. ठीक है जी, समझ आया? These are the 6 focus area where BIMSTEC countries intend to cooperate, right? Please make this chart and do mention it in your answers whenever you write about BIMSTEC. Right now, जब ministerial meeting हुई, so the key focus area was to ensure connectivity in the region. Like I told you, if you do not have roads, if you do not have air-to-air connectivity, or if you do not have railways, how will you indulge in trade, right? Or how will you indulge in tourism? तो इसी के लिए to boost trade, to boost tourism, to boost flow of men, material, money from one country to another, we need a lot of connectivity among the countries of BIMSTEC organization, right? So that is why the ministerial meet focused on the idea of connectivity through port facilities, through shipping, through motor vehicles movement, right, through grid connectivity, right? So connectivity is the first aspect of the relationship of the focus. Then security. So see, again, these countries face common threats like terrorism, like trafficking, right, like cyber attacks. So to combat them also, the region will be cooperating, right? And finally, to promote business among these countries also was the focus of ministerial meeting. So connectivity, security, business promotion, these are the three focus areas. For connectivity, the motive was to sign a master plan for transport connectivity also. And you see, when the actual summit happened after this ministerial meet, there this master plan was approved. So this is a very important development again between BIMSTEC countries, right? Now the outcomes of the BIMSTEC 5th summit. So you see, 1997 say it's just a 5th summit. This is also a issue area for BIMSTEC, right? कि regular summits होते नहीं हैं BIMSTEC के. 25 साल हो गए हैं, but still we have just 5th summit. मतलब on an average 5 साल में एक बार मिला है, right? So whenever you want to write challenges of BIMSTEC, there you can mention this point that regular meetings are not happening. We have just reached to 5th summit, right? Now the information about this summit, you see, the first, the theme, this can be asked in your pre. So the theme is towards a resilient region, towards a resilient region, prosperous economies, healthy people. ठीक है, तो मतलब हम रीजन की रिजिलियंस बिल्ड करने पे फोकस करेंगे, उनकी इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ पे फोकस करेंगे, एंड देन लोगों की गुड हेल्थ पे फोकस करेंगे, राइट? नाउ क्विकली द मेन आउटकम्स ऑफ द समिट वर टू साइन अ बिम्स्टेक चार्टर और बेसिक लॉ दैट विल डिफाइन द बिम्स्टेक कंट्रीज रिलेशनशिप विद ईच अदर, राइट? देन अडॉप्शन ऑफ द मास्टर प्लान, जैसे मैंने आपको कहा मिनिस्टीरियल मीटिंग में इसका फाउंडेशन ले कर दिया गया था. नाउ समिट में दिस हैज फाइनली बीन एक्सेप्टेड. द मास्टर प्लान फॉर ट्रांसपोर्ट कनेक्टिविटी, दैट मीन्स दे विल बी फोकसिंग ऑन improving the transportation link between the member countries, right? 3 agreements have also been signed in, managing criminals. So you see, these countries face a very major problem that criminals commit crime in one country and they flee to another. जैसे इंडिया में कोई क्राइम करके नेपाल भाग गए, भूटान भाग गए, right? So to prevent that kind of activity, this legal assistance in criminal matters also, I mean, in any type of legal assistance in criminal matters will be provided with this agreement now, right? Diplomatic training के लिए there is agreement, right? diplomats को train करने के लिए, diplomacy में training के लिए भी the countries will be working together, right? Then in technology front, ठीक है, so BIMSTEC countries will be sharing different technologies among themselves, right? So that is also the agreement. Now India has also committed $1 million to BIMSTEC, to create BIMSTEC secretariat, right? So किसी भी organization को successful होने के लिए they need a background secretariat working on the day-to-day activities of that organization. Now BIMSTEC has not had a secretariat for this. This is the second challenge. First is no regular meetings, second is not secretariat is not present. So now India is committing $1 million to set up this secretariat for BIMSTEC. This is also a very important move from India, right? And PM Modi also said that India wants to transform Bay of Bengal as a bridge of connectivity, prosperity and security among all the member countries. ठीक है जी, मतलब बे ऑफ बंगाल को यूज करना है as a means to create security, prosperity and connectivity among the member nations. These are some key phrases, factual phrases that you can learn whenever you want to write an answer. You can mention them to fetch extra marks, right? Now lastly, these are some of the commitments or proposals for future of BIMSTEC. जैसे कि फ्यूचर में बिम्स्टेक किस एरियाज पे वर्क कर सकता है, लाइक BIMSTEC FTA can be signed, that is free trade agreement between the BIMSTEC countries, जैसे RCEP हमने देखा, ठीक है, वैसे ही BIMSTEC countries के बीच में FTA can be signed in future, right? Then exchanges of startups and entrepreneurs can be facilitated between the BIMSTEC countries, right? And then they can adopt international norms to increase the level of trade that they have, right? India has also, promised to expand the scope of scholarships from the Nalanda International University. ठीक है, तो ये फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स है. whenever you want to write what can be the way forwards for BIMSTEC, you can use these points, that BIMSTEC can engage in FTA, scholarship programs, startup exchanges और international norms for trade facilitation. So ये सब points आप वहाँ use कर सकते हैं. So that was all for today's discussion. These are very important topics. Please make a note of these topics and do write them in your notes. Thank you so much for watching and joining.